Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. You are on to the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society organization working to promote good governance, participation and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with my colleague Esther Bassi.
A warm welcome to the program wherever you're listening to us from.
On Public Conscience, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of investigative corruption stories by our partner media organizations and by alerting citizens and the government to their democratic actions against it. We equally promote integrity by amplifying rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. We appreciate the MacArthur Foundation for supporting the production of this program.
For a very long time, we have been raising awareness of mining activities across the country and the array of negative effects it is having on people living around or close to the mining environment. On today's program, we will continue looking at how mining activities by a Chinese firm continue to shrink and contaminate the water source of a community in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, very close to the seat of power.
An investigative report recently published by Mara Foundation says residents of the Mboko community in Buhari Area Council have lost their main source of water supply to mining activities. According to the report, artificial drainage created by the mining firm led to the distortion of the community stream. More so, chemicals and dusts from the mining activities contaminated the stream and made it unsafe for human consumption.
The situation was said to have exposed the community to an acute water scarcity until some individuals began to dig boreholes as alternative to water sources. However, residents of the Mboko community accused the Chinese firm of not providing a single borehole for the residents, having contaminated their water. Shortly, you would hear from the reporter who carried out the investigation in Buhari Area Council, but the predicament of the community residents points to the failure of those saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the right things are done have failed woefully.
One may want to ask, where are the leaders of the community? Why are they not disturbed like the residents? What about the leadership of the Buhari Area Council and Abuja Environmental Protection Agency, AEPB? Are they aware that people's lives are in serious danger? Why is the deafening silence from all quarters? Today's program seeks to raise the awareness and call all relevant authorities to take action to ensure the safety of Mboko residents in Buhari in the FCT. For you out there, feel free to share your thoughts with us when we open our phone lines. And if you are living at Mboko community, it will be great to hear from you. How do you think we can curb the indiscriminate mining activities endangering the lives of Nigerians in different parts of the country? What do you think could be hindering the government and other relevant authorities from addressing cases of poor treatment of Nigerians living in mining communities?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages during this conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 0902 265 6167. That is 0902 265 6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902 265 6167. Over the years, there's been a whole lot of concerns raised on how mining activities are affecting citizens across Nigeria. Today, what we are now witnessing is a situation where illegal mining of solid minerals has become the order of the day. Reports have shown that instead of being a blessing, illegal mining is sabotaging the Nigerian economy. The health of the people is in jeopardy. Illegal mining is contributing to local conflicts, and all this, the federal government's inability to adequately regulate the mining industry, leaves a lot to be desired.
Joining us to discuss the plight of residents of the Mboko community, whose sources of water was reportedly contaminated following mining activities by a Chinese firm, is the coordinator at the Media Advocacy West Africa Foundation, MAWA, who joins us via phone, Audu Liberty Oseni, and Program Officer, Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, Felicia Dairo.
You're welcome to the program. Audu, you're welcome to today's episode of the program. Could you give us a background of your report? Why did your organization single out Mboko community during the investigation?
Well, First is that we didn't really single out, it's not only Moko community, there are other communities, but let me talk of the Moko community. For like a year or thereabout now, we have put lots of energy or interest and commitment in the area of environment and climate change. And because part of our environment and climate change project, we realized, we saw, I think I was going for one field work one day. I just found out that there's a massive mining going on in the community. And I just spoke to one or two, three persons who gave different perspectives of what has been going on. Then I think after 3 weeks or thereabout, I went back and I started digging deep to see how that the Chinese activities have actually impacted or is impacting on the community and the dynamics. And that was why, so basically, we delved into investigating as a result of our climate change and environmental project.
Okay, thank you for that. But did you try to find out if the Chinese company is licensed to operate in that community?
I didn't find out. I've not investigated the whether they are licensed, the authenticity of their license from the CAC. I've not investigated that. I've not done that. I think what we just did was to look at its impact on the environment, what the community people are going through. I know that's what we did. So I've not gone to check the authenticity of their operational license.
Okay, now let's stick to the impact on the community. According to your report, the only stream in the community has been contaminated. Could you share what the name of this mining firm is and how exactly, so that the person listening to you can understand in real time how the activities of the mining community has affected the mining firm has affected the community?
Yeah, the thing is, the local community is a small community, but because of expansion in the big as it is, the satellite town, people are building houses there, and so when you go to Moko community, there's a place called Road H, Zone E. That's actually where the stream is located. The stream is actually coming out from the rock, and when the stream comes out from the rock, it goes down to where community people come and fetch the water. Now, because of the mining activity by Chinese, the water is still rushing, but it's very small. And just yesterday, I think I was in the community yesterday, one person was narrating to me how he washed his face with the water, and since then, his body has been scratching him. Now, because there's what they call stone dust, because of the rock they are breaking, they are grinding the stone dust, excavating the rock. The dust particle and other chemical from that has actually contaminated the water. Now, because the water has been contaminated, the community people no longer drink this water. They have resorted to somehow people who have opportunity to dig both can dig, but those who don't have can buy water. Now, 2 days ago, yesterday, one of the community members whom I don't want to mention his name, was telling me that at a point in time, my Chinese company volunteered to dig borehole, but I don't know what, because of the clashes between them and maybe traditional chief for that didn't work. So apart from that, the community, the stream has been affected. If as I speak, if you are going into that community, you can see massive dust, as a result of the huge truck, because there are so many 10-tire truck trailers that go into that community. They raise them. Sometimes, my Chinese company, if it pleases them, they just fetch water to spray on the road, to pour water on the road to reduce the number of the amount of dust that raising in the community. So you see a lot of community here people, others and all that. So that's the issue. And again, because there are smallholder farmers community land has been taken away. And maybe as it progresses, we begin to talk in terms of compensation and other form of impact on the community.
So from what you just explained, now it does appear that it's a quarry site.
Yes, quite site, very massive. In short, yesterday, I also learned yesterday that somebody, I'm yet to get the person, his house, because they blast rock. And when they blast, it's so loud, it's just as if there's a bomb detonation or bomb blast. If your house is not strong enough, there's a chance that the house is either going to collapse or crack. I realized yesterday when I had a conversation with some of the community residents, just yesterday evening, they told me that they showed me that a man who his house got destroyed couldn't leave because he had to pack up, abandon the house, go to another place, buy a land and start bleeding because he was living in that environment as a result of the glass, because you need to blast the rock so that it becomes easy for excavation.
Okay, so in the course of your investigation, did you by chance speak to any of the leader of the community? Did you speak to anybody in form of leadership?
I did. I spoke to some youth leader, women, and I didn't speak to the traditional ruler person. The reason I didn't speak to the traditional ruler, I discovered that they told me that there are two traditional rulers. So the day I wanted to speak to him, I couldn't make it. But I know that I spoke to some community influencers, changes and women, youth, and who actually gave me their own interpretation of what is going, their own perspective of analysis.
So what was their position?
I know.
What was their position after speaking with them? What did they say?
Well, they are not happy in what's happening because I know that they even told me that sometimes ago the youth had to block the road and insisted that the road has to be constructed, by the mining company if they would be allowed to excavate the rock, because when they excavate the rock, grind them, people who do it come by, break some, condoms. But when they discovered that, when it became so, they say that the traditional ruler came, open up the road, and allow them to go. Though there are accusations among most persons I've spoken to, virtually everybody I've spoken to, and actually made, I assured them that I am going to speak to the traditional ruler, because there's an accusation that it is the traditional ruler that is backing the Chinese company. They even alluded, they alleged, that it is the traditional ruler too that is making it impossible for the Chinese company to actually construct the road, because the traditional ruler collect in form of bribe from the Chinese company. But that I have not ascertained, because I have not been able to speak to the traditional ruler. It is when I have a meeting, I have a conversation with the traditional ruler, I will be able to see whether they are lying or whether they are not lying, because for the fact that everybody in the community is saying doesn't make it to be true. So I need to hear from the traditional ruler.
Okay, could you share with us the name of this Chinese company?
What's the name now? Oh God. I'll tell you because of this conversation, which is escaping my memory. So it's not only there's a Chinese company there, and there's also a Lebanese company. There are two. So when you leave a Lebanese company, you get to the Chinese company. So there are two companies there. One belongs to the Lebanese, one belongs to the Chinese company.
Okay, when you remember, I would appreciate for you to tell us the name, because the person listening also wants to hear the name of that Chinese company. But like you said, some people believe that some of these companies, mining companies, are unable to continue with their illegal activities, if I would use that word, without the connivance of some leaders of the communities.
Sorry. Yes. They even a woman is, they have union. So one of the women leaders, I think that about last month, I remember that I was leaving the place. I gave her lift. she was narrating how, excuse me, sorry. She was narrating how that they do not do. There's also a collaboration with the Buhari Area Council. It's not as if these people just come do this in and get away. People collect royalties. People collect royalties. People come then collect money either as a local government council, either as a traditional I don't know of the federal level. But they don't this without the collaboration of some persons who are part and parcel, who are beneficiaries of this whole process. And that's why the community people feel that, look, these people, because if you listen to the women, the smallholder farmers, they are complaining this land, community land has been taken over, community stream has been shown, environment being degraded, being polluted. And what is the need for us? Nobody's talking about the only language, the only conversation is saying, oh boy, they settle the traditional ruler. So it's a whole lot of mess. And as of yesterday, 2 days ago, I saw them trying to grade the road. Because the road has already been graded. The question is, if you grade this road, there's a massive dust coming in, people will hate them, people get sick. Why don't you find a way to construct this road? And what's the compensation? What the people have taken over their land? What's their means of livelihood?
Okay, let me jump in there. Is the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, the Buhari Area Council, and probably the FCT, are they aware of the situation of the Mboko community?
Of course, they should be, because I think Mboko community is not hidden. If you're going to Buhari, you check your left at the Tipa garage. Immediately after this Aladi at the Tipa, you can see big excavation going there. So you can't tell me that they are not aware. But again,
but did you reach out to any of the agencies before you published your report to get their position?
Is that what?
Did you reach out to any of the agencies before you published their report to get their position on this?
I know that I spoke to one of the senior officials of Abuja Environmental Agency who didn't want me to mention his name, who said that he isn't in a good position to talk about, but he understands what's going on and didn't want me to mention his name. But one of the things he said was clear, that Abuja Environmental Protection Board, their mandate is also to protect environment biodiversity across the FCT, either in city center or the area council. But what do they do? The concentration is on running after the women and men who just hawk. It goes beyond running after them. The real job has to be done. But again, is that don't forget, according to what the senior official said, that the Chinese company, the Lebanese company who come, they make a lot of money from this. They can actually bribe anybody. And what they do, once they discover that there's somebody there who is kicking, they find a way to settle you. And as soon as they settle you, everything goes. So the strong voice who ask for environmental justice are being identified and settled one way or the other. Is either they give a house for you, is either they give you one. So that's the problem. So at the end of the day, the people who are the poor, who are the most impacted, don't even have the voice, because the voice that ought to be speaking for them has already been compromised.
Okay, the voice has already been compromised. But on your own part, as Mawa Foundation, what were some of the challenges faced during the investigation, and what is your advice to the government and other relevant bodies that can address the issues in the Mboko community?
If you can do that in 1 minute, I would appreciate, because of our time.
One of the major challenges is some committee members, some are not even ready to talk about it, but they are afraid that they can be apart. They're not ready to talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it. That's true. To the officials, even the people who work on the mining sites, some of them are afraid because they work and live like slaves. They don't have the guts and the freedom to have a conversation of what's really going on. And on the issue of what is my advice for government? There's what we call community development agreement, and it's a process and there are procedures. Those who mine in this country should have responsibility to protect the environment, and those their land have been taken, they should be adequate compensation. People don't just come and break and start mining. No environmental assessment, nothing. At the end of the day, what matters is that who gets what, who gets the money, and the community people begin to have good environmental impact, and nobody cares. I think this ought not to happen again.
Okay, thank you so much, Audu Liberty Oseni, the coordinator at the Media Advocacy West Africa Foundation. Thank you so much for your contribution at this time.
You're welcome.
If you're just joining us, you're on to Public Conscience, and we've been extraying some activities of mining firm at Mboko Community in Buhari Area Council. With me in the studio, I also have one of my guests, the Program Officer at Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, CJID, Felicia Daru. You're welcome to today's episode of the program.
Thank you for having me.
I also have my colleague who is smiling at that end. I wouldn't know if it's because of the activities of the miners or the implication it has on the community. You're welcome, Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
Thank you for having me, Adaobi.
Let's start with Felicia Daru. How would you react to the report by the Mawa Foundation?
All right, thank you, Adaobi. So I went through that report, and you will agree with me that there is nothing new in that report, in the sense that anywhere you have illegal mining activities going on, whatever you have in that report is what is obtainable. I read the report by Mawa Foundation, yes, about the Boko community and how Chinese are illegally mining mineral resources in that community. Now, in the report, you could see the contamination of community stream. Mining involves you digging, and after digging, you're bringing out some material, some particles, which include mud, the mineral resources, and everything. So it's usually done close to where there's river or there's stream. So after you mine, you bring out that. You go to the river, you wash off whatever you've mined to extract the mineral resources. So in the process of doing that, you contaminate the water. And we all know that most community people rely on those water for their daily activities. So we have that contamination, which clearly shown in that report. And then there was another thing that was clear. That was the connivance of security officials with the illegal mining operators. Let me put it that way. And then also the community people. Chinese are not Nigerians. They are strangers. There is no how a stranger can come to your terrain without the help of people around to help him. Now, sometime 2 years ago, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, made mention that they arrested some illegal mining operators, about 27 of them like that. And out of those illegal mining operators, 17 were Chinese nationals. And after a while, it came out to say again that it's been under pressure to release these Chinese guys from powerful forces, like you said. So we have that connivance.
So it's not just connivance between the community members. No?
So it starts from
powers
the top.
That be.
Exactly. It starts from the top to the bottom. You can't just go to a community you don't have any relationship with or you don't know anybody. It has to be from somebody that knows somebody and all that. So it came from above, according to what the minister said. So we had that in that report, and it is rampant. This is what is obtainable, where illegal mining activities are going on. And also in that report, you could see apparent lack of corporate social responsibility. Now,
from the Chinese firm?
From the Chinese firm, yes. And it's obtainable anywhere illegal mining activities are going on. Now, there is CDA in the Nigerian Mining Act of 2007, and it clearly stated that for
CDA now means
community development agreement. Yes. So for as an operator, if you're going to mine in any community, you need to sign that agreement with the community. You need to provide an alternative to that water. That's by digging borehole.
Okay, so do you think some of this community are aware of this CDA?
So now that's where the problem is. Most of these illegal mining operators just go to the community and make empty promises. And because the villagers are not even aware of what is obtainable, they just gladly accept and feel, oh yes, you're coming to develop our community. At the end of the day, they end up being cheated. So they are not aware of most of these things written in the Mining Act. And that's where, as civil society organizations, we need to come up in sensitizing these community people.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's shift to Chidozie Ogbonnaya. You're smiling. How would you react to this?
The smile is not as a result of being happy about the situation, because what we are talking about is destruction of people's farmland, the flora and the fauna in their community. Pollution, you don't even know the health hazard those people will be facing in the nearest future, because you are just inhaling dust from all sorts of contaminating their water, all contaminants thrown to them. So but actually what is lacking here, as she said, is connivance, and there's no way the leaders of the community will not know the responsibility, the social corporate responsibility of a company coming in to do mining. So it's just that somebody is sitting on what should have been for the general benefit of the community. Some few elements will just take the gains and allow the people suffer. It is what our society is. We've been through this. You remember the case of mining in Kundu community. We amplified that some time ago. Same exists there. The one in Nasarawa and even in Ogun State, you remember, still by the Chinese firm. So the name rings a bell. It's no more like is a new thing. We know that everywhere you hear about mining, it resonates with a Chinese firm, a Lebanese firm. So it's just time that our government and those put in place to do one or two things. Duty bearers should wake up and rise up to the occasion. For Mbuko community, is this investigation should worry the FCT management, FCT administration, and AEPB, so that they will know that it is not all about chasing hawkers on the road. They have a big job. They have lives to save. In that Mbuko community, I bet you you meet up to 200 households in that community. So it's a time that they have to sit up and do their job.
Thank you for that. I would have to jump in there so that the person listening at the other end of the dial can contribute to the conversation. I said contribute to the conversation. How do you think the government can combat indiscriminate mining activities endangering the lives of Nigerians in different parts of the country? What do you think could be responsible for the inaction of the government and other relevant authorities and inability to address cases of poor treatment of Nigerians living in mining communities? Okay, let me quickly get back to Felicia Dairu. While Audu Oseni was making his contribution, he talked about silence from the community members and also staff of the mining community. Why do you think there's this deafening silence from community members when it comes to reporting illegal activities of some of these mining firms?
Okay, so I think this still boils down to the connivance that we mentioned. It's not like they're actually quiet or they don't want to talk. But then there are some powers that is always restricting them from speaking. So there was a time I went to a mining community very close to Zuma Rock here, where quarrying activities was going on. And then we tried to speak with most of the villagers. None of them was ready to speak with us.
Why do you think that keep occurring in all sites where you have this?
So it's because some powerful people in the communities are actually aware of most of these illegal mining operations. And the community people are aware as well too. So that's the fear of, if I speak or if I talk, I might get arrested.
They'll come after you.
Yeah, they might come after them. So usually they're always scared of their lives. And I don't blame them.
When you say they're scared for their lives, there's a greater danger ahead of this thing. Your health, like what Aldo said when he mentioned that someone reported to him that he used water and then his body started itching him. When all of these things combine together, which is the greater danger?
Of course, your life. It's just choosing between the devil and the deep blue sea. Okay. You know that once you speak, you're likely to be endangered. Your life is likely to be endangered. You'd rather remain quiet and probably be praying, we are Nigerians, and be praying for that day where freedom will come for you to eventually leave that community, or for one miracle somewhere to happen.
So what is our government not doing right, and what must the government do to better regulate these mining activities going on in the communities?
Okay, so on the part of the government, when it comes to laws, I can tell you Nigeria has one of the best laws when it comes to mining in the world. We have the best laws. But there's always a problem of implementation. In 2016, Nigeria developed its last roadmap. A roadmap is like a compass that you use in navigating. So the roadmap has its short, mid, and long-term goals. In the roadmap, it stated that between 0 to 6 months, Nigeria should have gone far in this and so things in terms of mining. Between 2 to 5 years, we're expected to be here. Between 5 and 5 above, we're expected to be here. But then, how are we going? Who is checking this? So it's important that the government goes back to that roadmap and check what we are doing and what we are not doing. By doing this, it will make us to know where we are and how we can proceed.
Okay. When you said the governments have roadmaps that track these things, my question is, why bring out something if you don't tend to implement? Like what you said initially when you mentioned the reports that the arrest that later the person who declared the arrest of the people, illegal miners, and then later came back to say that the miners power that beats are not arresting are not allowing him to his position.
There was pressure to release the Chinese guys.
So if you have these laws and then you have that power, do you ever see it being executed even in the nearest future? Because these particular communities that this activities is going on, they're actually feeling the impact. Do you ever in the nearest future ever see any of this the laws being implemented?
Yeah, so I'm very optimistic about Nigeria, and I'm a lover of Nigeria. So I believe someday soon, then we'll get things right in Nigeria.
Perhaps you live in one of those communities where we have mining activities going on. We would like you to call in and share your experience. What are the challenges you're facing as a community? And if you know someone who is probably ill as a result of these activities, we would also like you to share your experience, or you have a solution. What do you think the government can do to address the issues? We'd like you to call in and share, and probably advise the government on what next to do. Because Nigeria, like my guest said, she's a lover of Nigeria, and we are all Nigerians. We want the best for Nigeria. Hello? Let's hear you. Okay, please go ahead.
The man that had in contact with, so we were just the man was telling me about the mine land in Benue State. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please go ahead.
Alright. So I just say, how does it go? So telling me that the chiefs in that one, they are the ones that collect the money, and some few people around the chiefs that know about the mining here. Whenever Chinese people bring the money.
Okay, I think I got what you said, that there's a community in Benue State where your friend told you that the community leaders, the chiefs, connive with the Chinese firms to take the money and then allow them to continue with the activities. My question to you would be, do you think that these traditional rulers, the chiefs, they don't understand the implication of some of these activities on the people, or they just look at their personal gain? Okay, let's take this other call. Hello?
My name is Anthony.
Anthony, let's hear you.
Yes, I live in that one.
Where?
I stay in that one.
Dakwa.
Okay, please go ahead. Okay, go ahead, please.
They have been black, the rock is black there, the effect is black on the estate, and the citizen around. There is so no more. Each of them is black.
Are you there?
Okay, if you can hear me, did you at any point try to report the activities?
At the time they stopped, this time around they started again. Now, we are noticing another new company that came around that even they started speaking that we have around the area that they came from Niger State and they have bought all the roads around the area that they want to start their mining operation. They called us, someone else at the chief panel were in that one. We went to at the chief panel. So the wind was really nice. So said I have done one thing or the other at the back of the residence there. So that these traditional rulers are the ones responsible for all this back and forth to the operation of mine through Chinese people there. That's my notice.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. So the story is not any different from Boko community. Why are the traditional rulers sabotaging their community?
So I think this boils down to what we call corruption. Corruption and illegal mining activities go hand in hand. Now, we did a report in 2020, Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development. We did a report to analyze the shady practices by registered mining companies using the data that was released by NEITI. NEITI is the Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. That's the watchdog for extractive company. So we did, using that report that NEITI produced, it was revealed that in 4 years, Nigeria lost about 4 billion naira to illegal practices and corrupt activities of these registered mining companies.
4 billion naira.
4 billion naira in 3 years. That's according to NEITI, data from NEITI. And this is as a result of the non-remittance of revenues, tax evasion, illegal practices, and incessant smuggling of mineral resources out of the company. Now, our findings show that we went to this government agency that is in charge of royalty collection. That's the Mines Inspectorate at the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. And then we got their data that a particular company declared an amount of mineral resources being exported out of the country. And then we compared that data with what we have with the Nigerian customs. And there were contradictions. This speak to corruption, in the sector.
So
and
Nigeria is losing so much
to corruption when it comes to illegal mining. And then also, in that same report that we did, it was revealed that some Chinese companies do not even have a trackable record of tax payment in Nigeria. We saw their financial record, and it was written in Chinese language. This is Nigeria. We speak English. We write in English language. I mean, how do you expect me to interpret whatever you've written in your language? You're trying to let me know that I don't have any business in what you do. That speaks to corruption. So, going back now to your question of these community heads, it boils down to corruption. I mean, everybody's particular about his own pockets than the good of the common citizen.
So, sorry, can I...
Go ahead.
Why do you think our government is not bothered? They're losing so much in revenue. We keep borrowing, but there are places where you can just peg this revenue from escaping. Why do you think they are not bothered?
It still goes back to corruption. There's no other thing, because look at what is going on. It's similar to oil theft. Same thing happening in the mining sector is happening there. Now let's stay with the mining sector. Somebody out there, Chinese company cannot just walk into Nigeria community and operate, and also flout our laws and go scot-free. Somebody is, conniving and giving them that opportunity to run their business and also get his kickback or get his cut from the business. So it is corruption. It's a systemic thing, and sometimes we say bottom to top approach. But this one, if it starts from the top, because if the top is clean, it will trickle down. When you pour water on your head, it goes down to your foot. But you cannot pour on your legs and it will go up. The truth of the matter is that if we must get this right, the authorities, from the hem of our thread, we must stamp out corruption. We must be, frontal with fighting corruption and making sure that everything is done right. This cannot escape the big officials, because if they don't allow it, the chiefs, what the chiefs are doing, they are taking the letter the peanuts that came to them, because somebody has already sanctioned the company to come and exist here. Some of the Chinese company, they might even have Nigerians co-owners. So it's corruption, and you must only get this right when you have leaders that have proven themselves to be persons of integrity over time.
Leaders who have proven to be persons of integrity. From what Aldo Seni said, that's the coordinator at Mawa Foundation, that aside from the health hazard, it also has implication on the farming activities, agricultural activities of the community member. Smallholders, farmers are complaining. Mind you, some of the products of these farming activities, they are not only consumed by the community members.
Yes.
It will, in one way, to a great extent, affect residents, Abuja FCT residents, and probably people in other neighboring communities. Scarcity of food, inflation in one way or the other. Does it mean, for me, I believe that the authorities should be interested in this?
Absolutely. Because if you look at it, by rights, since they are going to disrupt farming activities, you pay compensation. That's the community development agreement. So you use it will bring succor to the woman who has lost her farmland to your mining activity.
Aside from compensation, shouldn't they be relocated to some other communities?
Because even health-wise is not good. Look at any mining site, the decibel of sound that come out. Sound is measured in decibel. So the decibel is not, you cannot stay near a mining site. That's why them even doing mining, they wear a very big headphone earplug to make sure that the sound doesn't get to them. So you are living in that environment, you are at risk of hearing issues and pollution, air pollution, water pollution. So they should even be relocated. So it's just organizational failure and corrupt system. The institution, we need to do a lot. If not, this thing is going on every part of Nigeria. If you check the news, you will see Zamfara miners. So it is everywhere. In the FCT, anywhere you have, like Nasarawa is a solid mineral state. A lot of them. In Abuja here, we have a lot of them. So this corruption must be checked. We must be frontal with it. We must be holistic about making sure that it stops.
Okay, before we round up, Felicia, I would ask you one last question. What do you think citizens or residents of the communities, how can they organize themselves to ensure that these illegal mining activities comes to an end? In 1 minute.
All right, thank you so much, Chigozie. So, Adaobi, sorry.
It's okay.
I think civil society organizations have a major responsibility. You can only speak to what you know. Whatever you don't know, you don't know. It's so sad that some of these community people don't even know their rights. So it is important that we keep empowering them, we keep building their capacity to know their rights, and then to ensure that they speak up when such illegal miners or illegal mining operators come to their communities.
Sensitization and awareness creation. Thank you so much. Esther, we really must go.
Please visit our news website, primognews.org, that is primognews.org, for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website, www.primog.org, to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guest, the coordinator at Media Advocacy West Africa Foundation, that is Mawa Foundation, Audu Liberty Oseni, the Program Officer at Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, Felicia Dairu. Thank you so much for being a part of today's episode. And also to my colleague Chidozie Obunaya, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Public Conscience has the support of the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience, and remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram at @officialprimog. I am Esther Bassi.
And remember that birth registration and birth certificate are both free if your child is under 18. Help stop the corruption in birth registration and do not pay for birth certificates. Also remember that you can give us information or hints about Corrupt Act through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primorg.org. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Stay safe.